This presentation will give you a little bit more detail that builds upon the presentation by Chairman Tejada in terms of how Arlington got to the point it is at today with the streetcar program. There's a lot of material to cover, and I will try to be succinct. It starts with sustainability and what that means for Arlington. Arlington is at the center of the Washington region, a region that's quite dynamic and a region that continues to grow. And being at the core of that region, that also means growth and change for Arlington. Arlington has a long history of smart growth planning that dates all the way back to the 70s. That diagram is actually from 1972 when the county was planning around potential metro rail corridors. These planning principles have been very important for the growth and change in this community. That's also true with the transportation strategies to really expand travel options for our residents, workers, and visitors over time. We arrive at those transportation choices through many different tools, but transit is a vitally important set of services for this community. It's what Arlington is built on. We've experienced substantial growth in transit ridership just from '96 to 2013. Over 40% of all transit trips in the state of Virginia on an average weekday start or end in Arlington. That's approximately 300,000 people a day that were able to move without additional traffic. So what does the next generation of smart growth look like? We're in a dynamic region that continues to change and continues to grow. As is the case with our long tradition, it is about transit and continuing to make investments in critical corridors. Columbia Pike is one of those key corridors. I next want to turn to a little bit more detail on Columbia Pike. The corridor extends from Pentagon City to Bailey's Crossroad. It has significant population and employment, and it's a highly diverse community. It has the highest bus ridership of any bus corridor in Virginia right now, with 16,000 trips. The community along Columbia Pike has a vision for this corridor that has been worked and refined and detailed over many years. It involves revitalization, creating a complete community that's pedestrian-oriented and preserving what's best about the Pike. As is Arlington's tradition, planning and community development and transportation go hand in hand. Year after year, these studies track back to the late 90s and continue today. It means decades of community involvement. It is not a one-off. It is year in, year out, with many different processes. In terms of the transit corridor and the investment, we didn't just do one study, we did two. We often hear the question, why not bus? Why not BRT? And this is an option that some communities have chosen. It has a wide variety of applications. But without substantial investment, including dedicated lanes, many experts advise that the benefits can't be fully achieved. And having gone through an extensive community process, widening Columbia Pike to provide dedicated lanes is not feasible. I want to touch a little bit on the first round of the transit analysis from 2004 to 2006. An incredibly extensive community process with varying types of meetings and formats, including a 5-day design charrette on the Pike. But ultimately, out of that process, with Fairfax County and WMATA as a full partner, streetcar with bus was recommended as the preferred investment for this corridor due to increased ridership, reduced travel time, and complementing, and most importantly, complementing the community's goals. Both the County Board and the Fairfax Board of Supervisors voted to support this option in 2006. But that wasn't all. We did it again. To comply with the Federal Transit Administration requirements, we went through a full-blown environmental process from 2009 to 2012, again with an extensive community process. And again, both the Arlington County Board and the Fairfax County Board reaffirmed the selection of rail and bus as the preferred investment strategy for this corridor. Let me go a little bit more into some of the reasons for streetcar. It has a number of benefits over bus. It is about capacity. We have to be able to carry more people in a sustainable way in the future. And Metro Rail, heavy rail, is not a viable option for this corridor. Growth is coming. It is about accommodating growth, but in a sustainable way. Over half of all the population growth in Arlington is going to occur in the Columbia Pike, Pentagon City, and Crystal City corridor. And most of that growth is within a short walk of the two planned lines. Day of opening in 2016, 26,000 people is the estimated ridership we need to be able to carry, rising to over 30,000 by 2030. We're at 16,000 today. And in the bottom of the slide, you see some of the other major bus corridors in the region. They all happen to be in the District of Columbia. Georgia Avenue is the highest ridership corridor at 18,000, with express bus, articulated bus. Benning Road is a fairly close second, and 16th Street. The district is in the process of converting both the top two corridors to streetcar lines. Streetcars have been shown to attract new riders, and that is important for the future of Columbia Pike if we're to maintain levels of traffic at today's levels or less. So and again, it is about supporting the community vision. And some of that vision is taking place today. Over 1 million square feet of new development has already occurred on Columbia Pike that is more urban and pedestrian and transit oriented than what it has replaced, following the county board's adopted form-based code. It is also about making connections, connecting a major housing and employment center in Bailey's Crossroad in Fairfax, connecting to Pentagon City, our #1 retail center, and into another major mixed-use center in Crystal City and Potomac Yard, with connections at Pentagon City Metro, Crystal City Metro, and VRE. We are not alone in Arlington, and I think that's very important. Other jurisdictions in this region are investing in rail. The District of Columbia is currently building its first rail lines and plans a 37-mile system, replacing most of their high-capacity bus corridors with rail. The state of Maryland, working with Montgomery County and Prince George's, is advancing the Purple Line to connect some of its major suburban centers. In the Metro Strategic Plan, it references the potential of streetcars as another layer of transit to help alleviate congestion on some connections in the core of the region. Streetcars are also being advanced in other parts of the country. So in this region, we're not alone. There's a lot of activity in terms of investing in high-quality surface transit, and specifically rail. This slide shows cities that have made financial commitments to streetcar lines. And this slide actually conveys those that are in the planning stage. streetcar investments, rail investments can deliver substantial economic value. And there are few places in the United States that demonstrate that better than Arlington. Arlington's tax base has benefited greatly from its investments in rail over the long haul. It's also about fulfilling the vision, and we keep coming back to that. The community has invested many years of work defining a preferred vision for this really important part of Arlington.